Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today, we're going to be talking about ANY. This is previously known as Sphere 3D, currently going through a restructuring with Gryphon Digital Mining. Now, I did talk about ANY before. My last video is in the description below, but today we're bringing new pieces of due diligence, technical analysis on what I think is going to happen in the next few days or so. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So if you would like to know more about the nature between Gryphon Digital Mining and Sphere 3D restructuring, you'll have to watch my previous video, but basically as Gryphon Digital Mining, the name implies Bitcoin mining, and they're literally starting off with creating the industry leader in Bitcoin mining. We also did go ahead through basically the size and the scale in general, and as well the carbon negative miner acquisition to offset around 500,000 carbon credits. And they're also adhering to the best practices to corporate governance principles and their planned merger with Sphere 3D with the ticker ANY. Now, currently, they have a competitive power rate as low as 1.3 cents per kilowatt per hour and operating break-even cost of around 4,036 per Bitcoin dollars, which the Bitcoin currently price is higher than that in general, and secures up to 90 megawatt of capacity at launch, with letter of intent to develop up to 30 gigawatt of electricity capacity. We also went through the presentation as well last time, so the presentation did have around 26 slides in general, and it did also talk about the expected closing, which is in the fourth quarter of 2021. With a transaction value of around $222 million. We also did talk about who they are and how they compare with other competitors, and as well as some of their Bitcoin mining operations, and as well as what their current operational strategy is within the next 5 to 7 years, including expanding to 100% renewable data centers with power capacities up to 30 gigawatts within the 5 to 7 years. That's around 1 zettahash. And by 3 to 5 years, they're apparently trying to scale to around 10,000 PHs per second and provide hosting and other services with excess data center capacity and generate recurring revenue streams. And within the next 1 to 3 years, they're looking for Gryphon 2.0 integrated renewable energy supply, and it's mainly to develop 100% renewable energy data center with power capacity of up to 1.25 gigawatts, which is around 42 exahash, with a secure power at less than 3 cents. And scale to around 5,000 PHs, that's again between 1 to 3 years. And in the first year, traditional Bitcoin miner as Gryphon 1.0, the initial launch securing 90 megawatts of hosting and secures around 2,000 or actually more than 2,000 PHs per second with an instant path to revenue and profitability with competitive power rates. And they're also comparing other companies and some more information such as revenue. So for instance, the revenue currently is around $29 million. They're estimating by 2025 that will jump to $1 billion, and the operating costs respectively would jump, but your gross profits would go from around $20 million in 2021 all the way to 2025 around $741 million. Now that's pre-tax cash flow is around very similar, only $1 million left or off, with zero debt payments anticipated. So they're really trying to go for a lot of that money without it being debt. How might you ask? Well, it's pretty simple. So instead of them going on and applying for a loan at a bank, they treat the stock market as a very simple cash printer. And all they have to do is raise some money at the market. So this is actually a direct offering put at $192 million priced at the market that closed back onto September 8th, and the price for one common share is currently at $8.50. And the warrants have an exercise of around $9.50 per share. And you're able to see that the current price is still lower than that direct offering price, but they also did raise some money previously. On other news, Sphere 3D retains legal capital as advisor. This is an FYI thing. It's not really important for the narrative in general. It's kind of an FYI. Now, on other part, some of the bigger news here is Gryphon Digital Mining launches the first batch of its 7200 S19J Pro anti-miner, or ANT miners, my bad. And ANT miners, these ones are if you did watch my last video, you would actually understand a little bit of the capacity that this one is trying to go for and how many miners they're actually going for. So here it says it announced that the first batch of the 7200 S19J Pro miners have been installed and are now mining Bitcoin. This is transformational for the company as it transitions from an aspirational Bitcoin miner to a producer, and is yet another milestone in the company's goal to be the industry-leading Bitcoin miner with zero carbon footprint. The company will continue to receive batches of 600 machines on a monthly basis until the total purchase of 7,200 machines are up and running. The order is expected to provide Gryphon with approximately 720 PHs per second of hash power, which places it among the top 15 miners across the Cointelegraph. This fleet of high-efficiency miners will be a part of one of the only cryptocurrency minings with 100% renewable energy supply. The purchase of S19J Pro miners represents an exciting and significant step forward in Gryphon digital mining strategy initiative to increase its Bitcoin hash rate, while simultaneously maintaining a negative carbon footprint. The S19J Pro is the latest model from Bitmain that was released this summer. The new miners boast a hash rate of around 100 THs combined with an industry-leading energy efficiency ratio of around 29.5 JTHs, an expected life cycle of over 5 years. The deployment of the state-of-the-art machines mark a transformational event at Gryphon's as we join the ranks of global active Bitcoin miners. Seeing the machines at work plunge into 100% renewable energy supply is the first of many demonstrations which prove our long commitment to the digital asset mining sector in a renewable or responsible manner as well, said the CEO of Gryphon Digital Mining. Now, on other parts, we're able to see SEC filing relating towards them retaining the legal capital as advisor. But what's interesting here is the short selling activity. Currently, there are short shares available of around 250,000 shares. These are not borrowed, they're returned back, with a short borrow fee of around 42.73. Now that was higher from before. Now before moving on forward, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. It does help my channel a lot. A lot of you amazing folks have been watching my videos, and I do hope that for people here interested in ANY and other stocks would go ahead and subscribe. Also, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to join a Discord, it's free in the description below. We're not trying to upsell you on anything on there. Now, basically, the short borrow fee rate currently is around almost 43%. And the short volumes are sitting closer to around 40%, 30%. So 1/3 to almost 1/2 of all shares are being gone towards the short selling side. But if you compare volumes have dropped significantly, and we'll address that in the current technical analysis, because today volume really spiked up nicely. And before even going on forward, there is actually one institutional buyer, MMCAP International. They bought around almost 10% of the entire company, to be specific, 8.85% at around 5.2 million shares. Now let's move on towards technical analysis. Now from a technical analysis perspective, what we're seeing here is that the 10 SMA is currently above 30 MA. That is very bullish. The price point also has a trading action zone that it escaped today out of. So basically that's between 688 and 546. And you're able to see that within these two price points, you most likely would see positive reversals, and we did see that today. So it's a very bullish action. All the moving averages are indicating a very bullish action. The average directional index is telling you to be careful because above 50, sometimes the movement is not stable, and we're above 50. So be very careful on that. Although on the William %R, we're still being at the oversold level, showing that there is high levels of selling, whether from buyers who bought previously or trying to break even, or short selling. It's all combined. MACD here is showing that a negative reversal is basically denied, and it's going back towards a positive reversal. So that's a very quick U-turn out of the news today that we got, and the reaction is a massive bullish reversal back with massive momentum. Now, stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are actually pinpointing and curving upwards, suggesting a very strong push into this one. And if we're taking a look into the moving averages band and Bollinger Bands, they're both actually going upwards, showing a really nice movement. As you get to see, the Bollinger Bands is sitting between 871 and 284, And volumes are still really picking up from around, let's say, less than 20 million shares in the last 3 days, but 3 trading days, to around 101. So around 4 to 5 times more volume than the average volume. And what we're actually seeing as well is that this stock has very, very tiny float. That means almost with any news with such speculation and such anticipation, the word that I'm looking for, you might see this one spring open and really push forward. So that's a very nice thing. The moving averages are going upwards. Now on the Fibonacci retracements, what we're actually seeing here, and the reason why I'm highlighting this one for the millionth time, is because institutional buyers and high frequency traders use it. Currently on the supports is 671 and 546. Resistances are at 772, 872, and 1015. If we were to go ahead with price line action, we're able to see that there is a very critical resistance at the 732, and then 749, and then above higher at the 797, going to 893, and then 958, and then 989, and then upwards to 1059. Supports. Currently a strong support at the 706 or thereabouts, 686, and then down to around 650, and then downwards to around 604, and then closer towards 569, and then down to 510, and then 468. Comes that question to Ed, what do you think is going to happen here? Now from a price line action, we get to see the supports and resistances. I mean, in all technicality, this was the trend line. It's currently broken down and it kind of pushed back upwards. So I do see that this one, with this massive news that we got with the first batch, a lot of people are getting that anticipation into action and buying. And I do think that this one might actually, you know, if it does get push from financial gurus, quote unquote, and personalities in retail, this one can really spring back open to $12. But if it does go on quiet, on deaf ears, this video doesn't get a lot of hits and people recognizing the implications of the Bitcoin mining, with them being on the top 15 list by the end of this batch, well, this one might slack a little and kind of dive a little bit downwards, or basically have the similar action to what we've seen around this level. But all in all, in the future, this stock raised a lot of money. There's a lot more shares than that what we're seeing reported because of the dilution that happened. And hopefully within the future, this stock can really continue to become profitable and adapt towards the Bitcoin mining operations. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to enter down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.